So welcome everyone to our social science e-learning class, and today in this class we are going to discuss the next subunit from chapter number 5 history, that is rulers and buildings. The name of the chapter is rulers and buildings. And today's subunit I am going to discuss, that is engineering skills and construction. And construction. Okay. So what is the main topic here? That I hope you have heard the previous class. That in previous class I have discussed that how did the rulers, they also prioritize the temples, monuments and palaces which they were built in the time of medieval period. Medieval period means 8th to 18th century. And monuments, those monuments provide an insight into the technologies used for construction at the time. Take something like a roof. For example, we can make this by placing wooden blocks or wooden beams or a slab of stone across the four walls. But the task becomes difficult if we want to make a large room with an elaborate superstructures. Okay. Insight means an idea. Okay. Akash, insight means give an idea. How did they acquire technology and what kind of technology they used? This is the given insight, means given idea of their engineering skills. So, but the task become difficult if we want to make large rooms with an elaborate superstructures. Okay, what is superstructure? That the part of the building which over the ground floor, it is called a superstructure. Okay. So today you know that various superstructures were built, and also the government and private many companies are building lot of big superstructure, mega structures, big buildings with 30 stories, 88 stories, 50 stories building everywhere. Okay, mainly in the urban areas. But at the time, in the time of 8th century, it was very much difficult. It was not so easy because this type of technological advancement was not there. Big cranes, the payloader, okay, so this type of the bulldozer, this type of things were not present at the time. So it was very much difficult for them to make those things. As Shoptorshi, I have mentioned it so many times, so you check the chat box of your e-portal. I have mentioned there. So between the 17th and 7th and 10th century, some architectural changes occurred at the time. Okay, in construction of the monuments, temples, mosques, palaces, etc. That the architectures, they started adding more rooms, doors and windows to buildings. So you may may have seen that lot of medieval ages buildings such as Hajardwari Palace, it is in Murshidabad. So those palaces were thousands of windows and doors, okay, and also rooms. Lot of rooms were there on the palaces, and the two types of method were used to make those things. The first one, the roofs, doors and windows, they still made by placing a horizontal beam across the vertical columns, and it is called the Triviate style. Okay, what is Triviate style? That this is the pillar. Okay, so they make two pillars. Okay, and they made two pillars, and between they joined the middle of the pillars with horizontal beams. So this is called the Trebiat style or corbelled style. Okay, remember. So picture is present, figure number 2a and 2b, and this type of Trebiat architectural style we can found in Quat al-Islam Mosque, New Delhi. Quat al-Islam Mosque, New Delhi. We can see late 12th century this type of superstructure. So this type of structures or technology is called Trebiat style, where placing a horizontal beam across two vertical columns. Okay. Sometimes this type of thing also made straight pillars and in this way. Okay. So this is also Trebiat style, but this is most popular, and in Arabic in India, when the Arabs also first come and the Delhi Sultans, they made lot of monuments, palaces and forts using this pattern. Okay. And number 2, in 8th to 13th century, and this is 8th to 13th centuries, the Trebiat style was used in the construction of temples, mosques, tombs and the buildings attached to large step walls or baulis. Okay, what is bauli? The large step wells. Okay, such as the Ugrasen ki bauli, that is present in Delhi, Purana Kila region, as well as the Rani Ki Bhab. It is a World Heritage Site. It is in Gujarat. So these are the bauli. Okay, stepped well, big wells with steps. So all these things were made with this technology, Trebiat style of architecture, where two pillars were made and they joined the two pillars and made the door and windows. This is the Trebiat style, or otherwise they two pillars and horizontal beams. This is the Trebiat style. Now the temple construction in the early 18th century. So except this, how did the Indian rulers, the Indian kings, between in 18th to 13th century, they made the temples. At the time, lot of temples were constructed in various parts of India. Okay, and mainly two types of temple architecture was found at the time, that is the Nagari style. Nagari style means the temples of mostly seen in the North India, the Nagari style temple, such as in this way the Sikhara, single Sikhara or multiple Sikharas present. Okay, in a temple. Okay, and that one mandapa was there with pillars, and it was present with a staircase. This is the Nagari style, and this is the Garbha Griha was present. In Nagari style temples, that the example is given in your book. This is the Kandaria Mahadeva temple. It is built in 999 AD by the ruler, the Chandela ruler. Okay, Chandra ruler Dhanya Deva. Okay, Dhanga Deva. So Chandra dynasty ruler Dhanga Deva established this. Okay, in Madhya Pradesh, and it is situated in Khajuraho, Madhya Pradesh. And main features is that the ornamental gateway. Okay, and a gateway was there. Okay, this is the ornamental gateway, and if you pass the gateway, you have entered into the mandapa, Mahamandapa, where dancers performed. Okay. Saptarshi, the chapter Mughal Emperor already completed. Only the question answers the left. Okay, and question answers will be uploaded tomorrow, Saturday. Okay, so in a platform, this type of temples were established in a platform. Okay, so Dhangadeva made this temple in 999 AD, and the image of chief deity were placed in the main serene of the temple. It is called Garbhagriha. The main room or Garbhagriha serene, the main deity, it is the the Shiva Linga is also placed there. Okay, inside the temple, and it is called Garbhagriha, the central room, and only king or his family members or his selected main priests, they can enter inside the Garbhagriha and for performing some rituals, and it is very much restricted. The entry is very much restricted in the Garbhagriha. Even in today's temple you can see that the entry in the Garbhagriha or the sanctum where the god and goddesses idol is placed, it is very much restricted. Okay, so the different temple architectures was there, but the main is the Nagari style. This is called Nagari style architecture, mostly seen in the North India. And the royal temples also present. The historians, they found royal temples also in Khajuraho temple complex where the commoners were not allowed, and those temples are totally for the kings, okay. So this is the Nagari style. Now the South Indian temples, this is the Khajuraho, and the name of the temple, remember again, the Kandariya Mahadeva temple. It is the Kandariya Mahadeva temple in Khajuraho temple complex, built by Chandala king Dhangadeva. The next one, it is the Gopuram style of architecture. The South Indian temples, most of the time you can see the step by step temples. Okay, the step by step, lot of steps are there. So these steps, okay, so step by steps temple, and then the same type, the Garbhagriha, and this concept is same. And sanctum, there is also Garbhagriha sanctum, but the Shikhara was Gopuram style. So it is the Gopuram style of temple. So the example is given in your book, that is the Raj Rajeshwara temple. You have already mentioned that King Raja Raja Chola, the Raja Raja Deva Chola of Chola dynasty made this Raj Rajeshwara temple in Tanjavur and had the tallest Shikhara among all the temples at that time. And what is the main feature, that when this temple was established by the workers of King Raja Raja Chola, then they made a slope from the ground. Okay, they made a slope from the ground, okay, and which was leveled with the ground, and the blocks, these blocks actually taken there by people. Okay, these blocks were taken by the animals and the peoples, they pushing forward and putting it in the top. Okay, so this is a very hectic, because these stone blocks almost 90 tons. The weight of these stone blocks almost 90 tons. And so the architects built this, the inclined path to top of the temple, placed the boulders on rollers and rolled it all the way on the top. Okay, and they also placed some rollers between this and pushed it with the slaves and bullocks. But the residents of the area remember the experience of building this type of temple. So that's why the name of some villages also named, carried the memory of the temple construction, such as the Charu Pallam. Charu Pallam was a village situated here, is a village situated here, and this village actually situated on the place of where the inclination start. So Charu Pallam means the village of the incline, the village situated on the incline, Charu Pallam. So in this way they remembered the history of temple construction with the name of the villages. Okay, students. And when the temple constructed completely, they removed this path, this sand and soil. They made the slope of sand and soil. They removed. Now the Gopuram temple is completed in this way. Okay. So any doubt, students, you can ask me about this temple architecture, the Gopuram style and previously the Nagari style. And it is the example given here. It is the Rajarajeshwara temple built by Raja Raja Chola. So now, okay, another two features was there, that the weight of the superstructure above the doors and windows was sometimes carried by arches, and this architecture is called the arcuate style of architecture. Okay, and some in later centuries we can see this type of architectural patterns. Okay, when to hold the weight of the superstructure, they used this type of arches, and in the arches, in this way, the stones or bricks were placed, and the weight of the superstructures totally shared in all the bricks, and in the center portion, the center stones or center bricks is called keystone. It is the keystone, okay, situated in the center. So in this way, this type of architectural style, when the weight of the superstructure above the doors and windows was sometimes carried by arches, this architectural style is called arcuate. Arcuate style of architecture. And use of limestone, another thing, that this is the number one, the arcuate style, and number two, the limestone cement. That is called in Bengali, it is chun surki. Okay, the limestone cement. They mixed the limestone with some sticky substance like jaggery and or the dust of the bricks, and made those beautiful palaces, monuments, tombs and mosques. Okay, so these are very high quality cement which when mixed with the stone chips hardened the construction of large superstructures. Okay, so it was very much used in later phases, the limestone cement. So students, so that's all from today's class. If you have any question regarding this, you can ask me. Okay, so these are the some main features. Okay. So next day we will going to discuss the building temples, mosque and tanks, and why were temples destroyed. These two subunit. Okay, bye.